Okay, let's check in on the old channel, see how we're doing. 100 and... Oh. Oh, hi. Hello, I'm Father Aaron. Welcome back to the Dungeon Minister. So, somebody out there must have posted a link to my channel somewhere because there's been another big jump in subscribers. So, first of all, thank you to whoever it is who's sharing the link, and welcome to all those who joined. I want to point out that I've had an addition to the table. One of my boys made me this Dungeon Minister sign, so that's going to join the collection here on the table. There you are. Now, last we left our heroes, they were planning for battle in Honeywood. I had plugged all the numbers into the system that is found in the companion book and found out how the battle was going to go on the big scale. But the beauty of this system, again, is that while the big scale battle is happening just in numbers, the small scale stuff can still be played, individual encounters. And so, if you'll recall, the players had been sent to that gap in the palisade. They are going to guard that. That's their responsibility, along with 2 of the town guard and a number of townsfolk armed with axes and whatever they could lay their hands on. So the characters go to the gap in the wall, and they're told that once the attack comes, if the kobolds and gnolls find this weakness and start to attack it, they're to send over to Sulix's tower, send word to the tower, Sulix will come, cast Ice Wall, and close up this Achilles heel in the defenses. The players are really nervous. They're really nervous at the beginning of this. And it's kind of funny because, of course, they created this scenario. They're the ones who said, they're going to attack us, they're going to attack us. And I just went along with it, but they have made themselves so nervous. So they are anxiously waiting. And I'm playing it up, right? During the night, there's sounds out in the wilderness outside the wall, and you don't know, is it an animal, is it whatever? Eventually, they go to rest, and they are woken from their rest by the ringing of bells. It's the town guard who've been watching. They get all their gear, and they rush to the gap in the wall. The town guard who are there tell them that we've heard yapping and barking and noises from out there. Because, again, the gnolls are hyena-like, and I make the kobolds kind of dog-like. And they're not the most disciplined soldiers on Earth, especially the gnolls, and so they're barking at each other. And when the kobold makes some noise, a gnoll barks at him and makes more noise, and So anyway, they hear them coming. Now, one of the elves, Bob Johnny, played by my youngest boy, he has a light spell, and he casts it up into the air to illuminate the area of the gap, because torches aren't going to cut it out here, right? As soon as he does, they see glinting in the dark eyes, malevolent eyes staring at them. And then, with a rush, the eyes come forward as out of the darkness charge 12 kobolds, 2 wild boars, and a bugbear ferocious running for them. Just at that moment, they can hear in other parts of the town chaos breaking out. Shouts of men and cries of kobolds and gnolls. The attack is on, and the fight starts. Now, at this point, I also have some townspeople, I have some town guards, and so we just start rolling, right? We all roll initiative, and the battle is on. It is a big fight. It is a hard fight. The kobolds sort of square off against different members of the group, and so this one has got, 2 or 3 he's fighting, that one's got 3 or 4 he's fighting, and the townspeople are also in it. I'm trying to work all of this, and really, it's so big. Frankly, I'm sure that I missed a few rolls. A few of those townspeople didn't get their turns. I'm sorry, townsfolk. You were just so stunned by the kobolds. That's what it was. It was a little big of a group, to be honest. But that's okay, because it didn't take them long to cut down a few of the kobolds. I mean, again, kobolds in open battle are not that great, but the bugbear gives them fits. And one of the boys, the middle boy, plays the halfling. And he takes on the bugbear, because the bugbear is above average size, he's above human size, and so he has a harder time hitting the halfling, right? The halfling has some dexterity bonus and just being small bonus. So he's fighting the bugbear and doing a pretty good job of it. The others are taking on the kobolds, and those wild boars are really giving them fits. They charge through back and forth again and again, and that's actually where most of the damage comes from. Now, at the very first, when they cast that up and they saw the eyes, they sent a town person off to Sulix's tower. But there's a problem. There were supposed to be 3 gnolls leading this attack. They were supposed to be here bringing the attack in, but they're not there. Now, of course, the players don't know this. The players have no idea. What happened is they get there. Perith, the leader of the kobolds, is in this group, and he has convinced the gnolls that they should go attack Sulix's tower. Oh, there's a tower there. You are so strong, you could take it. Imagine, all of the army would sing your praises. You would be the heroes. You can take the tower. You can climb it. And, he convinces them, and he plays up their ego, and how tough they are. He's working them. He's sort of the Grima Wormtongue here. So he sends the 3 gnolls off. They think it's, like they're going to be the big heroes, and they kind of think it's their idea. And off they go. And he takes over because he's trying to win back control of the kobolds, right? He's going to try to become the chief kobold. Back when the gnolls took over, they killed the old tribal chief of the kobolds, so Perith wants to become the new chief. So without the gnolls there, it's a bit easier fight, and they're holding their own. They're doing an okay job. A couple of the townsfolk get seriously injured. One of the guard gets seriously injured, but one of the townsfolk just happens to keeps rolling really well. I mean, it's a luck of the dice thing. So we developed a mythology that there's this farmer, and she's got this huge scythe, and she's just cutting down kobolds right, left, and center. It's hilarious. The fight's going well, but then other parts of the wall prove to be too strong, and some of the attackers on those parts give up and start coming to the gap. And they can hear them coming. Where is Sulix? Why isn't he here? We're about to get overrun. Finally, just at the last moment, he shows up. In fact, they can see more eyes coming out of the dark. Dozens of them. A big group has shown up now. And there's gnolls leading it. And the biggest gnoll in the group is charging forward, swinging a sword. He's coming for them just as Sulix gets there and casts Ice Wall. And the gnoll gets trapped halfway in the ice, sticking out into the town, and his other half on the other side of the wall, this grizzly, trying to kill them. Anyway, that finishes that. Then Sulix casts levitation. He goes up above the wall and shoots a couple magic missiles out, just for effect, because it was kind of neat. And then comes down. They go, well, where were you? What took you so long? We were fighting here. We sent the guy over. It was 5-10 minutes before you showed up. You're only a couple minutes away. What happened? Well, those gnolls, remember? They delayed Sulix at his tower. He heard them coming up, and he had to find, where are they? And he's looking out this window. No, they're over there. Oh, that window. No, they're over there. Finally, he goes up to the top of his tower, looks down just as the gnolls are coming up. Fireball, right? And takes care of them. Anyway. So now, the PCs the players have finished their assigned task. The wall is sealed up. The attack has failed there. And of course, this section is now harder to scale or to attack than the palisade because it's sheer ice, right? Slippery. Just then, a messenger comes from the southwest corner of the town where Sir Trevor is. They're hard pressed. They need help. So the player's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And they go with Sulix, and they rush down the street toward the southwest corner. Now, they get to the sort of main intersection of the town, right in front of the inn where they've been staying. And just as they get there, another messenger comes from the north, saying the attack there is going badly. They need help, they need help. Sulix says, you go to help Trevor, I'll go up to the north. So he hoofs it north, and they continue down to the southwest corner. They get there to find the second bugbear in the river trying to tear apart the river gate. Meanwhile, there's an attack happening, arrows, slings, that kind of stuff, and a few gnolls and kobolds have tried scaling the wall, and they get there and they look, and there's dead kobolds and gnolls. There's a couple of dead town guards. It's a mess here. And there's Sir Trevor with arrows sticking in him, but he's still fighting. And he says, welcome to the party, and they start to join the fight, shooting arrows and whatnot. Then my eldest has an idea. He's got a sleep spell, and they can see out there one gnoll who's clearly directing things. He's in charge. Casts it. Down goes that knoll. Everyone around him assumes that he's been shot. They don't check to see if he's asleep. They just think he's been shot by an arrow or hit by a sling stone or something. Just at that moment, though, crash from below. They can hear the bugbear. He's almost through the gate. The boys grab their flasks of oil from their lantern, right? They grab flasks of oil and they chuck them down, and one of them misses, one of them hits the bugbear and cascades all down him. And then my middle boy, I think it is, grabs a torch and throws, and he rolls to see if he hits, and he hits. Boom goes the oil, and he's all aflame, and the fire goes whoosh right up the wall of the gate, right to where Sir Trevor is standing. Fire engulfs him. He's just roasting in there, right? He has that ring of fire protection. And of course, the players are like, oh no, we killed Trevor. Like they think they've done this awful thing. They think, oh, why didn't we think that through? We killed him. But then the fire diminishes, and there stands Sir Trevor laughing. And they only find out later that it's a ring. So it was a fun moment, like, wow, he's really cool, So anyway, the bugbear is heavily wounded but still alive and starts ripping at the gate again. So the players run down to the riverbank just as he crashes through. And he crashes through angry. And as he crashes through, of course, the gnolls and the kobolds that are on the banks outside start jumping into the river to try to get in. So in comes the bugbear. First thing he sees is the players, and there they are ready for him. A battle ensues, but it's 4-on-1. The bugbear's already injured. Now, so the players are already injured as well, and one of them, I think the thief, my wife plays the thief, I think Fofire almost dies. She gets really low in hit points. But they rally, they kill the bugbear. Garrick is down. They think he's dead. He's asleep. But the Garrick is down. And the remaining kobolds lose heart. And they see that the townsfolk, once the river gate was burst, all the people defending other gates ran over. They only left a couple, 2 or 3 there, and all the rest ran over. And they realize there's no way they're taking this town. And so they skedaddle, right? The townspeople want to chase at first. The townspeople and the towns guard want to go after them, but Trevor calls them back. No, this is the position we want to be in. We don't want to go out there. That's going onto their ground. Stay here. So they do. And they hold the town. And all around, things quiet down. And the attack melts away into the dark. Now, the end results of the whole thing. The end score. Oh, in last time's video, I got the math wrong. I said there was 123 in the Kobold and Gnoll army. I had grabbed that number. It was floating in my head. That is the number that the town comes up with, a 123 to 76, when you go through all of the rankings, the battle rating, and all the other conditions. So that number was on my mind, and I said it. It's not. It's 149 in their army. At any rate, the attackers take 30% casualties. I am telling you, defending a fortified position really pays off. Honeywood takes 12%, which is 8 souls, which for a small town is a big deal. Like, you got 8 people dying in the same town. Trust me, I know, vocational hazard. I've been in situations like that. When that many people die in a small community, it's not good. So it's a serious thing, but they held their town. The gnolls and the kobolds, of course, they retreat back to the forest, and eventually they flee north. They are fatigued. They've got nothing else in them. And Honeywood remains in place. They held the field. They held the town. And although it's a sorrowful day, they are relieved, to say the least. Off stage, some things that happened off stage. Of course, Sulix's tower was attacked by the 3 gnolls, being convinced by Perith. Perith, incidentally, died in the attack. That was the cost of his attempt at taking control. His thought, of course, was to sneak into the town and take it on his own and then be the great hero and toss off the gnolls' leadership. But he paid for that risk with his life. A big attack happened at the north, and where the clerics, the 2 clerics were in charge there, Parson Supple and my middle boy's cleric, who never actually got a name. He only played him 1 adventure and then kind of lost interest in clerics. Sigh. They had an enormous battle because all the ones that kind of half-heartedly tried on that section of the wall where the mayor was, they all went around to the north and reinforced that attack. So it was harsh. Both of the clerics are wounded. Parson Supple seriously wounded. What had happened is the attackers had forced open the gate, and the defenders were on the other side, and the fight was right at the gate, blows around and people trying to push in and trying to push them back out. And one of the farmers was seriously wounded and fell and was about to be killed by the kobolds. And Supple rushed forward and attacked the attackers and tried to drag the farmer out of harm's way, and succeeded, but in the process was seriously, seriously wounded. He is near death. We're talking 1 hit point here. If we were playing 5e, he'd be making death saves, right? But it's not. It's BECMI, so he's got 1 point. But he is in serious shape. The gates are breached, the townsfolk are pushed back, but Sulix arrives. And he has enough spells left that he launches a fierce attack, and the attackers are back on their heels. The townsfolk can get the gates closed again and reinforced, and that attack is halted. In the aftermath, after the army retreats and Sir Trevor judges that it's safe now, they go out and they bring in Garrick, because Fleetwood, the elf who cast the spell, says he's not dead. That was a sleep spell. He's just sleeping. So they rush out and they grab him and they drag him into the town, put him in irons, and they keep him at Sir Trevor's house. It's a big kind of manor house. It's kind of vaguely castle-ish. It's like if you built a house trying to make it look a bit like a castle, because he's compensating himself for the fact that he's not living in the actual keep. But anyway, they keep him in there in a cellar room, which was like where he kept his bacon or something, or his cheeses were being kept cool or whatever. Anyway, stuffs him down there. So the next day, after everything's calmed down and they've made sure, yes, indeed, the attack is over, and they're cleaning up and they're tending their wounded and they're dressing the dead in preparation for burial, and they're worrying about their chief cleric, right, because he's on the point of death. The players visit Sir Trevor. They want to talk to this Garrick, and so they go down to the room where he was held prisoner. He's gone. He has tunneled out. It wasn't a real prison, right? It was just a room in the cellar. He has tunneled out and he's gone. And later they discover that one of the boats at the dock is missing. And sometime in the middle of the night, he got on it, floated down the river, and must have gotten through the broken river gate without anyone noticing. Because they were looking out for trouble, and he came through this way and escaped into the night. So, in terms of story, what has happened as, the defenders held their position, Honeywood is saved, the attackers have run off with great casualties, and all is well, right? In terms of game, what has happened is we've bought ourselves a reprieve from the kobolds for a while. We've been fighting kobolds for 4 adventures in a row now. We need a change. They're not going to come back for a while. They've had enough. So we get to do something else. And we get to explore a bit more of the world. Go in different directions for a little while. See some other sights for a little while before the north calls again.